Greetings people of YouTube, welcome back to my channel where in this video I am going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe class, Axlegrease. I will not give background information in this particular video as this character is actually an original character designed for the Legacy Evolution toy line. This is the first Legacy Junkion I was able to find. I was not able to find Scrap Hook nor Crash Bar, and she is actually a retool of Scrap Hook, so I think I should be good there. Taking a close look at the packaging, really sick artwork of the alt mode there. Turning over to this side, some more artwork of Axlegrease in her robot mode. On the back, like usual, there are some product shots. On this side, you got another half of the Legacy Evolution poster. At the top, there's nothing at all, but there's a QR code here if you want to scan it. Go ahead and pause this video. And at the bottom, you know the usual. So yeah, without any further, let's crack her open. That sounds horrible out of context. And here is Axlegrease out of her packaging holding all of her accessories. This figure is so fun to play with. And not only that, aesthetically, I also think she is pretty cool. I am a big fan of those Junkion designs, personally. And again, she just comes with so many accessories that makes this figure so much fun to play with. Which is why I think I will do the same thing that I did on my Optimus Prime figure, and that is, we should take a closer look at the details first. Now here is how Axlegrease looks without any of her accessories attached. And whilst she does look a bit incomplete, I still think this is a pretty cool design regardless. No reference images to compare her with here. This is an original character for the Legacy Evolution toy line, as I've said in my intro section. And taking a closer look at this figure, I gotta say I love the colors. This is supposed to be one of our first Decepticon Junkions, and I think the dark purple and the dark blue colors here suits her incredibly well. Taking a nice close look at the head sculpt here, you can see that it does look very feminine, as this is supposed to be a female Junkion. Love the silver paint on her face and love how this pink visor looks. As we turn into the back, however, it is fairly hollow. I don't know why that is. From my knowledge, this is an issue with every Legacy Evolution Junkion, so I really don't know what is up with that, and I can't really do much about that, so whatever. A lot of parts on this figure are actually pretty hollow, but I'm kind of okay with it, considering this is a Junkion and those are supposed to look quite scrappy in appearance. It just kind of goes along with the look, but on the back of her head, it does look a bit weird for some reason. And the back of the figure itself is quite boring, in all honesty. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's just a bit too clunky and it could have used a little more life in my opinion. Which is why I actually prefer to mistransform this backpack to make it look a little more angular. I don't know about y'all, but I think this configuration makes this backpack look a little more interesting. And if we add in the smokestacks, which I'll show later, it will look a lot cooler. Getting back to the front and talking about this whole chest area, right? Focus, you mother. This looks fantastic. The silver paint apps here are incredibly cleanly placed, and the Decepticon logo here just looks so darn off-centered. I've just noticed that right now, actually. I guess it's not that bad. Moving down to her legs here, it looks pretty cool and spiky, and I love how her toes look. These toes are going to become the front grille of the vehicle mode, and that kind of reminds me of a certain Transformers animated character, perhaps? And the back of her calves look pretty okay. These heel spurs might look a little annoying, but they do help in terms of how she stands, so I'm pretty okay with these. And speaking of how she stands, the stability on this figure is actually pretty solid. The knees might look a little loose, but it's not the biggest problem with the stability of this figure. It's actually these stupid elbows. They doesn't pop off because this is on camera, whoopee. Just look at how little effort I have to do in order to pop this right off. Why? It's not even a part that is supposed to be removable, so I don't know why they couldn't have just shot in a pin or a screw right here. It's dumb. Especially when we get to the transformation, which I don't look forward to do at all. But at least when you pop this back in, you get a double jointed elbow. Speaking of which, her head is on a mere swivel, which can only look left to right, not up and down at all. I suppose you can mistransform her and move her armpits out like this, and she can look up like this, kind of? Nah, that looks horrible. Shoulders can rotate 360 degrees. Careful, they can pop off fairly easily. However, this shoulder is a body part that is supposed to be easily removable, so I'm not as mad about that as I was with the elbows. Shoulders can move outward that far until they smack her on the head. Bicep rotation, that can be a little scary to move because, again, double jointed elbows, as I have stated previously. Wrist rotation, that is a little tight and is for the transformation, but you can use it absolutely for posability. A really nice waist swivel. Fake ab crunch maybe? No, that looks horrible. Her weirdly curvaceous hips can move forward that far. Moves back about that far. She can do the splits. Rotation at the knee. Nice 90-degree bend at the knee. Her ankles can move up that far, down really far due to the transformation, of course. And finally, a fantastic ankle pivot, allowing you to get her. Again, though, I can't really get mad at these knees considering they are supposed to pop off in order for you to use the whole weaponizer gimmick, so I'm pretty okay with that. And yeah, you can absolutely get her into some pretty cool poses, especially if you bring in the accessories, which I'll cover after I talk about the size comparisons. Here's Axlegrease next to another scrappy looking Transformer, the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Battle Trap. Here she is next to Dragstrip. Comparing her to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight. And finally, the only other Legacy Evolution figure that I have reviewed, we have the Deluxe Class Beachcomber. Still a dope figure, by the way. And now where the fun truly begins with this figure, let's talk about her numerous accessories. You get a pair of blasters, a pair of arm cannons, a pair of smokestacks, and a random hook. Now, there are way too many ways to integrate the accessories into the figure, to the point where showing them all off would be impossible. So in this video, I'm going to show off two configurations, one that was shown in the instruction, and one that I'm going to have my figure displayed in. For the instructions version, plug in these blasters into her hands, plug these two arm cannons into her arms, plug that hook in here, and finally the smokestacks go onto her shoulders. And here are the accessories configured in what I like to call the default mode. And even though this is not the mode that I prefer, I still think she looks really cool like this. Gotta love how the engine block of the vehicle mode becomes her blasters, that's pretty cool. Her arm cannons also look pretty cool, though I don't like how it just kinda dangles off her forearm like this. The smokestacks have got to be one of my favorite accessories. I mean, they're just so nicely painted in silver. Gotta love me my shiny stuff. And we also get this hook, left over from Scrap Hook. Barely any reason for her to include a hook because her vehicle mode is not even a towing truck. So yeah, we're probably getting that locked down, aren't we? And yeah, this weapon configuration does look pretty cool, but I actually prefer to keep the hook attached to this arm cannon, take off her blasters and put them into her respective arm cannons. Then I like to plug in this section of the arm cannon into her hand. Finally, for the smokestacks, pop them off of the shoulders, configure the back like how I did earlier, and plug the smokestacks in like so. And here she is in what I like to call the ultimate mode. I don't know about you all, but I think this looks better than the other configuration. From certain angles, it looks like her arm cannon actually transformed out of her forearm instead of whatever the instruction wanted you to do with it. And you get this double blaster action, which looks really cool. But we have a little bit of asymmetry here because on this side, there's this hook over here. So she can get up close and personal with those pesky little Autobots. And I really love my placement of the smokestacks here. Kinda reminds me of a Revavroom. No one knows what that is? Oh yeah, and if you don't like these blasters here, you can also attach them to her calves, but that's more for the alternate mode. Do keep in mind that this is my preferred way of displaying her. You can get so much more creative than I am, especially if you have the previous two Junkions. And perhaps I'll throw in some pictures of other configurations right here. Your options are almost endless. Have I already told you how much I like this figure? Right, that was her robot mode, and if you think things couldn't get any better, it can. But not before going through this tedious transformation. And here is Axlegrease in her really cool looking armored vehicle mode. For the most part, the transformation was actually quite fun. Well, at least until you get to this back section, which is a pain on the back side. I may have made it look easy, but when you try it for yourself, you're gonna feel how painful it is. Let's just say that the elbows and the shoulders have a tendency to combust. But with all of that out of the way, what do I think of the vehicle mode itself? It's freaking awesome! Again, the design is just so barbaric looking, so spiky and so cool! This is a vehicle that is ready for battle. The amount of spikes here and the patched up windshield emphasizes my point even further. And again, the color scheme really works for me. If there is a point about this vehicle mode that I don't really like so much, it would be that you can see her hands right here. But that's not gonna be a problem when you bring in her accessories. Separate her arm cannons from her blasters. Remove this hook as well. Combine her arm cannons. Combine her blasters. Arm cannons go to the rear of the vehicle mode, and the blasters become the engine block. These exhaust pipes, I've been calling them smokestacks up until now, my goodness. I like to plug them in right here. And the hook goes to her butt. And here she is in her fully accessorized vehicle mode, and this looks awesome! As if the design couldn't get any better, my gosh, this just looks so badass! The engine block really pops out here, makes the front of the vehicle mode look even more menacing than before. And I gotta love how the arm cannons cover the back kibble, that's really cool. These exhaust pipes also look pretty cool. Would have been cool if you can plug in some blast effects onto them, but that's okay. And this hook is pretty random, but it's okay, I guess. Unnecessary accessory, to be honest. Yeah, this vehicle mode is fantastic, rolls really well. And just as an extra bonus for you all, we have the leg mode. Alright, I'm done. Size comparisons. Here's Axlegrease next to Battle Trap. This comparison actually makes much more sense for her mold mate Scrap Hook, considering both of their alt modes are towing trucks, but this is still pretty cool. Here she is next to Drag Strip, Mr. Knight, and finally, Beachcomber. And there goes my review for the Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Axlegrease. This figure is just heaps of fun. The amount of accessories, the amount of display option, the posability. This figure would have been perfect if it wasn't for the fact that the joints like to pop off so much. But like I said earlier, most of the joints that can pop off are meant to pop off, so I can't really complain about that too much. It's just a bit annoying sometimes when you're trying to pose her. At the end of the day, I absolutely recommend this figure to any and all Transformers fans. And I hope you all will recommend my review here. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend if you'd like. Also, please take note that my upload schedule might get a bit messy considering I've just started college now. So yeah, there's that. And of course, hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye-bye! And if you thought Deluxe class figures couldn't get any better, it absolutely can.